Hey, good morning, everyone. Dr. Paul Guidry, and just kind of wanted to tell you or talk to you about the basic levels of law enforcement or police agencies we have here in the United States. Many of you may be aware that we have about 18,000 law enforcement agencies throughout the United States. In addition to that, they are basically at your local, state, or federal level. So if you are residing in a city somewhere, whether it's a small city, medium size, or a very large metropolitan area like a Dallas or New Orleans, then you have what is likely a city agency patrolling that city, keeping you safe and secure, right? And so their responsibility would be to patrol that particular city. So if we lived in New Orleans or Dallas, Austin, Colorado Springs, Los Angeles, New York, there are city agencies there that are responsible for patrolling the streets of that city in which they work in. So that's one of your local agencies, your local city police departments. Another local agency that you need to look at is your sheriff's offices. So if you are an elected sheriff and you come into office, your responsibility would be to patrol or provide a jail for that particular county or parish that you represent. Another local agency. Now, there are state agencies as well. Many of you know the state police, right? They're out there making sure that we are abiding by the rules and regulations when it comes to highways. And so, state police can patrol anywhere in the state, whether it's Texas, Alaska, New York, California, wherever that may be. Their jurisdiction is the state in which they work for, right? So, if you work for Louisiana State Police, you can go anywhere in the state of Louisiana as a state trooper. Same with Texas, same with New York, same with Florida. Another state agency that you might be interested in, which there is a lot of interest in that one, is your wildlife and fisheries. They are allowed to go anywhere in the state as well. So their responsibility is to make sure that when we go out hunting, when we go out boating, whatever the case may be, or fishing, that we're just abiding by the rules. What are the regulations, the hunting regulations, the boating regulations? They're making sure that we abide by that. But they can go anywhere in the state to make sure that we as citizens are abiding by those hunting and fishing regulations. Another state agency, some states have it, some states don't, is kind of like a mini version of the FBI, Bureau of Investigations. But like in Georgia, we have Georgia Bureau of Investigations. In Colorado, we have the Colorado Bureau of Investigations. So they're kind of separate from state police, but they provide services in terms of investigations and stuff for city, state, and even assist the federal government in various types of investigations. And yes, they can arrest you as well. So there's just a very small example of your city or your local and your state agencies. Now we're going to leapfrog to the federal side of it, right? And so the federal side, number one, if you want to work in the Department of Justice, you can work for the U.S. Marshals. Oldest law enforcement agency on the federal side, created under George Washington. Is that guy that chopped down the cherry tree or something like that? Anyway, but you can also work for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. You can work for the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI. You can also work for the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agencies. They are individuals that reside under the Department of Justice, and they provide their particular services. So you should investigate that. But that's just some more examples of federal agencies. Want to work for the post office? You might want to be a postal inspector. They have their own agents. You want to work for the IRS? U.S. Department of Treasury is always looking for IRS agents, right? And yes, they do have arresting powers. Another big agency that has a lot of employees and opportunities is Department of Homeland Security. So if you're interested in working in Customs, Border and Protection, there you go, on the Department of Homeland Security. If you are interested in working for ICE, Immigration, Customs and Enforcement, there you go. That's another agency you can look into. If you're looking into TSA, those individuals you see at the airport checking us in, making sure that we're not bringing anything that's illegal or contraband, or not bringing anything back that could be contraband. The TSA is another agency you can work for at the federal level under the Department of Homeland Security. FEMA, for example, they're everywhere, especially when there's national disasters. The Coast Guard, right? Probably one of the premier agencies under the Department of Homeland Security is the United States Secret Service. I think they used to be under the Department of Treasury, but since 9/11, some things kind of changed. But U.S. Secret Service provides not only protection to the president, vice president, and other high dignitary individuals, they're also involved with counterfeiting. There are individuals that still like to print money or defraud people with fake credit cards and stuff like that. And so sometimes the U.S. Secret Service, or a lot of times the U.S. Secret Service, will be involved with those investigations. And again, the Secret Service falls under the Department of Homeland Security. So I hope that gave you a little idea of the various levels of law enforcement agencies we have in the United States. Investigate those. Some of the names that I spit out just now, look at those. See what they're all about. Is that something you're interested in? And they are rewarding careers, whether it's at the local, state, or federal level. So if you have any questions about this video in terms of policing, do let me know. Y'all stay safe, be careful, and peace out.